Dude, you know what it is, man. Number fucking one.
Yes,
Number
dude.
one.
Take that crown, fasten that on that. Boom, baby.
I know sometimes we play like a little, just the tip of number one, and then
Hmm.
we get there, and then we let them have it. And then next thing you know, the Timberwolves are acting like they're hot shit. Cat is putting up 62 in a loss and slipping it. My point is, at this stage right now, do you think we can hang on to the number one seed?
Um, well, I mean, in order for us to truly understand that, we got to look at our numbers. I mean, we got to really get to the dive into the numbers and understand where we're at as a team right now. And that's where I get excited about because if you look at just what we're doing right now on offense, it's incredibly insane. I mean, that's not even talking about our defense. That's just the numbers on our offensive level. And let's just get into that because I really want to like talk about that. But last night was the 16th game of the season that we had 30 or more assist mark.
Damn,
Put that in perspective. You know what the old Thunder record was?
I'm probably guessing two.
12. You had it
Oh
had a two in
well,
it, so you're good. Think
all right.
about that. 12. We're not even we just finished halfway through the season. This team is passing the ball, cutting, moving around. I mean, everything is happening on such a great level. You got Shea going 30 plus, 10 assists, and 5 rebounds in back-to-back games. 5 plus rebounds in back-to-back. This is
Yeah,
an insane level. Like we haven't seen a team that's been able to output what they're doing on a regular basis. Like it's unheard of to be able to have this many 30 plus assists in a game through halfway through the season. And if you start putting into context of what this team is doing, it's everything that you and I used to dream about with this team. Everything. Like we would
yeah,
sit there in the dark nights, even last year when we only won 40 games, there was a lot of dark nights. And we'd sit there and be like, look at the visionary of this team. This team is best when they're passing the ball and getting 25 plus assists a game. And if that's happening on a regular basis, this team's gonna be insane, you know? And then we're talking about the defensive level. And yes, as much as we want to just focus on the offense and just dig in on the offense because it's amazing, as equally to that is our defense. And people are stopping and they're saying like circling like I was looking at the numbers, right? So the best bet in the NBA to win a championship right now is the Oklahoma City Thunder
hmm,
because like I think they're like 1600, and then you have like the Lakers at like 1200, right? And then you have the top two teams in the East, which would be the Celtics, and then you have the Nuggets up there, right? So like at 600 and 800, whatever. So like that gives you a context of where people are still not buying in on the Thunder, and when that changes, it's going to be because the Oklahoma City Thunder hold that first position,
right.
and they hold it, and it's like 2 or 3 games back are the other teams. And we've been saying it a lot is the Timberwolves, we said all season, they're posers, you know? We personally believe that the Clippers are posers to an extent. And this is why I constantly go back to this, Mark.
It's true.
You know how many
It's
games
true.
they have in March?
How many?
17. 17 games in
Yeah,
March,
that's not gonna go
followed
good.
by 8 games in April. Short amount of time in April to have 8 games. So
Hmm.
their schedule is fucked the very end. And that's where we're just coming back and we're looking at our schedule. And I'm saying, we've got a nice little, yes, 15 games, but it's not crazy 15 games. You look at the Clippers, man, like 10 of the 17 games are against top playoff contenders. Like they've got a shit to go through in order to even get to that level. And then you start looking at the Golden State Warriors, and they have a similar record. They have 17 games in March. You start recognizing like some of these teams, like they're not even getting to the bad stretch of their record, and they're still trying to hold their heads above water. So for me, it's just recognizing where this team's at, where this team's going, and why can we consistently go and win these games. And do you think, like you asked me, I think that this team continue the way they're going? Yes. Everything points to it as yes. If we stay injury free, there's not a team that's going to be able to stick up with us when it comes to winning records. And 7-2 out of, or a 7-3 out of 10, which is kind of the worst we've done this season. I think there's once that we went 6-4. Once. Everything else has been 7-3, 8-2, a 9-1. I mean, like, we've done an incredible job when it comes down to this. And Mark, I'm going to throw it right back to you, but this is what's crazy about this. We've lost 13 games, right? 131. The only way, or we get to 55 games is not that difficult now. We have to win 24 and we can lose, what is it? 14. Think about that. 24 and 14 means that we win 55 games this year. Let that settle in. Like, we're 31 and 13. So we have to lose that many more games in the course of the next 38 games. Dude, this is insane. We've got something special right now. 55 games is what everybody's projecting, but let's be honest, man, this team is prime. This team could win 60 games.
A 60 win team would be something quite different than the first round of the Thunder, which you kind of peaked their head into 50 wins and took a step to 55. You know what I mean? It took quite a while for them to
But
actually
I'm
get to
saying, like,
60
this
wins.
team, if we stay healthy, and you're asking, can this team keep it up? And this team
Right.
continues to do what they've done so far. We're at 58, 59, or 60 wins by the end of the season. I mean, think about that. If we continue what we're doing.
So, in the kind of the vein of what you're saying there, when we looked at the schedule for January,
Sure.
even like we were the most optimistic Thunder fans out there by far.
Oh, yeah. Sammy Dog, some
But,
other guys out there for sure.
but nobody expected like none of our even kind of like sort of like unreasonable level of fandom could have projected this, right?
Oh, we got called delusional, like, on
But did
multiple
you
occasions.
expect January, even with being delusional, did you delusionally expect January for us to move into number one?
I thought by the end of January, if we were top 4, we'd be in a really good
Right.
position.
That's where I was too. I felt
Because,
like
like, I looked at
top four,
January, because
I
look at
never
how many
thought,
teams we played.
right,
Nuggets twice,
good teams. Yeah.
Wolves twice. I mean, like, it's not
I looked
easy
at it and I
games.
thought
Back to
there's no way
backs.
we win
What's up, Gerald?
enough games to create anything more than top half of the playoff picture in the West. That would have been totally satisfactory.
I know.
Like
We would
nobody
have
would trip.
high-fiving each other.
Yeah, we've been like, okay, here comes a little bit of a regular schedule. So to move into number one, and we have 4 games left, and there are 2 teams that are really important in the upcoming up. We got 3 Western Conference teams, but we got the Timberwolves on the 29th, and the 31st is the Nuggets.
Hmm.
So I feel like we can win both of those games. Do you feel like we can win both of those games?
Yeah, I when we talked about January, I think we even said it on air. I said, you asked me what my dream would be about this team. And I was just like, man, if we could get, like, I don't know, 12 wins out of this month, it would be huge. It'd be better than anybody else. But
Yeah,
the fact that we're looking at we could possibly get 13 wins, that makes you think, doesn't it, man? I mean, it
it
really
does.
makes you think. If we go 13-4, and one of the most dangerous parts of the schedule for us,
Yeah.
and then we got February, we got 11 games and a whole week off to get healthy if we have any nagging injuries. Like, we come back the second half always way stronger after the All-Star
Hmm.
break. We get another week of coaching and getting coached up by these guys. Our legs are under us. Dude, there's no stopping us. Like, there's nobody can be able to slow us down. And if you want to say, well, coaches are going to do this type of defense and this type of defense, sure. But Coach D has proven that he knows what he's doing. Like, last night, game was really, really close, man. And then boom, third quarter came out and we put that boom on. It was over. Like, Shea didn't even have to come out in the fourth, or come in the fourth quarter. Like, nobody needed to come in that fourth quarter. It was just so bad after that. And it just shows you, like, the difference. Like, I get it. Popovich did a great job with what he has, but it shows you the difference. If we can blow out teams like that, that they came in with a chip on their shoulder because they all hear all the stupid shit that people like us have been saying about them. You suck, San Antonio. You suck
I feel
balls.
bad
I
for
hope you hear
your
me,
coach is
guys.
senile.
Jesus
Oh
Christ.
man,
I
I
hope
hope you
San Antonio
guys
people hear
do
me
good.
because like I will echo this until I'm blue in the face. San Antonio sucks balls. They just do.
Sucks
And they're going to suck
balls,
balls for a number of years until they can get a team around
dude.
Victor.
They don't
And
just
it
suck
makes me
balls;
so
they
happy.
suck hot, sweaty Texas
Dude,
Heat balls.
do you hear all of a sudden all these like people are giving us shit when we start talking about shit about the San Antonio fans, right? And then all of a sudden all these other Thunder media people now are talking about how horrible San Antonio fans are. Like it's crazy that we start stuff like that, and it's like we're sick and tired of the San Antonio fans, and we're like, oh, we've never minded them. No, we're sick and tired of them. Like we watch a game like that last night, and it makes me laugh. It's not like, oh, poor Popovich. No, it's like motherfuckers are suckers, and they're going to be for a while. And every single time we beat them by 35, 40 points, it's just going to make me feel better, man.
Dude, their biggest mistake was letting Sam Presti walk out the front door.
Dude, and
If
Chip
they had
England,
known,
what were they doing letting him walk? What the like
well,
I would have said
in,
to Chip, I would have said, what do you want? You want $10 million a year? You're worth it.
in
Like
all
whatever
honesty,
Sam
though,
Presti has on him right now, and he's never leaving.
when you have a coach who never gives up the job and you never promote within, like to the point where Sam Presti has to leave to go get a great job, like
But
then
that had a lot to do
what
with
takes
Bennett, bro.
place?
Bennett went straight to
I
him though.
understand, but like in the end, if they had promoted within, they
Yeah.
could have had the organization completely intact, and
Oh, it would have been over.
ultimately,
Over.
like Kawhi hated it because there's so much pecking order, and they use it. It's I know so many years people have been like, oh, Popovich's Air Force Academy time is was really beneficial, and he had a lot of that elements like where he would yell at any player and all this different stuff, and it was people admired it. But then there was a player who was a Finals MVP who's like, I don't want that shit in my life anymore, and he left.
Yep.
And people can be like, oh, Victor wants it, but like if I know anything about like old people, like my grandparents and stuff, like they get crankier and they yell way more as they get older. It's not like they just like stop yelling.
And it's
So
not
I
fun
imagine he's
yelling.
just like,
It's not fun yelling.
and
They
every
get personal.
yeah, and kids when kids hear old people yelling, they just think that like that person's just like walking around yelling all day, and they don't really want to be around them. Like they don't like, oh yeah, that's the person I want
Dude,
to teach me
I
basketball.
will respect Coach Popovich as being one of the greatest coaches ever, but he should have quit. He should have
I
quit
mean,
2 years ago.
a lot of people could say the same thing about Bill Belichick, like where like okay, like he had his run, but did he really need to get to the point where he was like just like losing all these games at the
Dude,
end of his
he's not done
time?
though. Belichick's not done.
I know, but like he should have
That's
just
what that's
walked
what's
away from the
crazy about this is
Patriots.
like Popovich is if he had quit 2 years ago, right? He still goes out as one of the greatest coaches of all time. Now he's going to be part of this rebuild that he'll never be able to coach this team while they're in the
Right.
finals. Never.
And here's my thing. Belichick should have quit and he shouldn't coach again because if he fails spectacularly, people will be like, well, it was a flash in the pan because he ran into Tom Brady. And he like that's why for me right now what Popovich is doing is gonna be
But
disastrous
that's
for
why
his legacy
having a young coach,
Victor if Victor leaves.
yeah.
If he's like, I don't want to be here for this whole rebuild, then what are people gonna say about Pop in the end? They'll be
But
like, he had
this
his
goes
time.
this goes back to Thunder, right? Having a young coach, having a young GM, having a young person that's connected to these guys, right? Is everything.
Right.
Is everything. We have our grandpa of our coaches, Coach England, right? Cheers to you. But everybody else, man, is that young, vibrant person. Why? Because when you're building a team, right? This is how you build it by putting a bunch of old guys around young players. It's just not the way to go. And that's why Sam Presti did it better this time. Think about it. When he first took over the organization, who was it? That old ass coach that was coaching us when he first came to the Oklahoma City, and then he like fired
PJ
him.
Curler or something.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Old ass guy fired him after like what 10 games or something like that, and here comes Scotty Brooks. Okay, so my point is that he even recognized early on that you have to have young coaches that relate to these young kids, and that's why I look at Coach Mark and I see what he's doing with this team on offense and defense, and you're throwing in some of the best shooting, if not the best shooting, 3-point line free throws on a team because Sam Presti put who? Coach England on this team. And
So
it's starting to
if
see.
you were a
Remember when we
billionaire,
would ask each other, what?
if you're a billionaire
Okay. If
and
I love this game.
you
What's up, Sammy?
owned an NBA team and you had to go to every game or you loved going to every game, how much would you give Chip England to make that going to the game more enjoyable by your team hitting more of the baskets they shot? You know
Well,
what I'd do
first
if
of
I was
all,
a
let's
billionaire? I'd be like, you get $500 million. Just make sure my team hits more of the shots so I can cheer more of the game because I have to sit my stupid ass in that seat every single game, no matter what. Why not cheer
mm,
for wins? And if you all you got to do is get somebody to like Chip England to go from like one of the worst 3 point shooting teams on the NBA to one of the best. That's enough for me. That's
man.
$500 million, baby.
If I'm the person that's going to be starting the either Seattle Supersonics or the new Vegas team, right, man? If I'm one of those guys that are starting that one right there, I'm offering Sam Presti 5% of the team. And I'm saying to him, I'm giving you 3% to bring on the coaches that you want. Because here's the thing, man, when push comes to shove, like somebody like Sam Presti and somebody like that takes your organization from a $3 to $7 billion or I say $3 to $4 billion program to all of a sudden taking them to $10 billion, $8 billion. Because I'm telling you, if the Oklahoma City starts winning, championships, this is going to be the most valuable organization in
It
basketball
is.
because
But
we're so
you need a
young.
Chip England, like you said. You need
You
a
need
Chip
Chip
England
England,
because
you need a Coach Mark, and you need Sam Presti. You cannot build a team unless you have all three of those guys lined up.
the nice thing about Chip is at this stage, you can legitimately say he's worth whatever he was paid to come away from San Antonio. And if you watch what's happening with Victor Shot, you have to wonder how much they could use. Okay, I won't go there.
Bro.
Do you think
I
Coach
listen,
England would make Victor a legit threat from three?
no, Coach England would change everything. And this is why for me, if I'm Sam Presti, like I've already sat down with Chip England and I've already said to him, "Hey Chip, I'm going to give you a pay raise next year and it's going to be a big one." you
Big
know
time
and this is just
bonus.
because you're doing such an amazing job. Because at this point, if he lets if he because he got Coach Popovich on speed dial because he spent so many years with him. Coach Popovich is like, I'm having trouble with Victor and I need help. And he's, I
They
help me,
definitely need
help
help.
me. And if he is for the least bit feels that he's not appreciated in Oklahoma City, he's going to jump ship to go home because that's where his home was for 20 years. So for me, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, if I'm Sam Presti, I'm like, every fucking weekend, I'm having Coach England over to my house just to chat, just to hang out, have some beers, have some steaks. And then I'm whopping him with I don't know, a $3 million bonus as saying thank you because there's just no way and saying, keep it up and I'll give you another one. Like this is, I mean, he's worth every single penny and so much more. And if you let somebody like Chip England walk, you're going to have a players like take a dip, and that's not something we want right now. So for me, I'm looking at this. I'm saying, lock Mark Daignault on long contract, get Coach England on a long contract, get these coaching staff guys on long contracts, and then on top of that, get Josh Giddey signed, get him signed on an extension right now. And do not let that guy get anywhere close to a restricted free agent, man. Do not let it.
And as fans, just enjoy the ride because, like I mentioned at the beginning, like we haven't seen a takeover of the NBA like this in Oklahoma City ever. A lot of people want to point back to the previous version. It wasn't this good, guys. It wasn't this good for many years down the road. And when they did get this good, like as soon as they got this good, the cracks had already shown and things weren't quite able to be sustained. And so that entirely makes this experience different. It's built different with a different set of personalities that really work together. And what we're seeing happen is really special. Number one in the West, and we weren't even trying. Think about that, guys. We weren't even fucking trying.
I we just play. There's no
We just
trying
play.
when you're just out there hustling and playing. You know, somebody has done this. I was reading about it the other day. It was this test about if you take a bunch of people and you put a bunch of positivity and they're basketball players, and it's a bunch of, they're equal to positivity and strict instructions, right? Which one wins? And it's the positivity aspect. And if you look at what we do out there, and Coach D is never derogatory, never yelling, never in someone's face, never kicking chairs, never doing anything else like that. He's there with the players. He's part of that team. He's got something special connection with that. And you guys can see that. And that's what's different. That's what's different than anybody else right now in the league. Everybody else is trying to figure out how to do this. But I'm telling you, having somebody like Coach Mark changes everything. He is. And we did an episode, last episode, it was about Coach Mark. Uh, it was just, it was one of those things where I take a step back, and I just, as I'm watching what he's doing when a team plays us in the zone, or what he does when we go into a zone, like, it's so next level. He understands zone plays like I've never understood, or never could understood anybody understand. Like, it's so next level. Every single time I break down a play that he recognizes that they're in a certain zone, and he sticks another player out there and they stay in that zone, and then next thing you know is that we scored 12 points in that zone, and they're calling timeout because they don't know what the fuck just happened. Like, he's so next level. He changes a single player and injects some energy, injects some scoring, and injects some defense, and it changes everything instantly. It's like Shea and Dort and Chet and J Dub and Josh. They've all learned how to figure out when coach inserts that player what they're supposed to do and what they're supposed to react on. And it just, brings so much pride to me when I see somebody like Aaron Wiggins drop 22 points, man. 22
Yeah.
points last night, because he's worked so hard. He's been there. He's done everything that coaches asked from him. And he takes little time, and he takes a shit ton of time. And the more time that he plays, the better we are. And those are the type of players that we're surrounded by. Why? Because these coaches have designed this team to bring in role players. And you know what? Not every single one of them is going to get playing time. Not every single one is going to do that. But when you're called because you're playing against a certain team that's going to not play you as hard as you're supposed to be played on this position, they're going to go fucking off. And then they're going to sit a couple games. And then they're going to go fucking off. Why? Role players with players like Shea, J Dub, Chet, Josh, and Dort make everybody better. The weaknesses that they have become strengths. The strengths that they have become super. It's insane to see Shea. It's insane to see J Dub. It's insane to see Chet when these guys are designed to go through them, and the offense is supposed to go through them. So coach puts players out there to make that individual player better. Right? We saw at the end of the game last game. Not this game, but the last game, when J Dub hit that shot. Right? He knew that they were going to double team and go and make sure that they had a person on Shea. So he sticks a player out there that is going to be known for shooting threes. So they can't guard J Dub, and he can go one on one. That's what the play was. Get the ball to Shea if you can, but they're going to guard you one on one, and I believe in you. This is next level, guys. We're seeing something right now that everybody, if you're part of Oklahoma City Thunder community, you need to start getting excited, because nothing like this has ever been done before by a professional team. We're the second youngest team in the league, and we're already being said we're the best team in the league. I know people will sit there, no. We still got something to prove. Motherfuckers, halfway through the fucking season, one of the best West we've seen in years, and we're number fucking one. What else do you got?
Enjoy that shit.
Let it soak,
Let's
baby.
go.
Let it soak.
Yeah,
Have somebody
please.
jump on that bed and have some fun.